When the humans of the future reach out to the year 2022 for help against an alien invasion, the countries of the world respond. Jump facilities are established around the world to send the world's military into the future and fight the aliens called the White Spikes. Only about 50% of the military population are able to make the jump to the future, with the survival rate being about 20%. Millions and millions of soldiers die until the world's militaries become depleted of soldiers able to fight in the future war. A draft of the civilian population is then created. Wave after wave of hastily trained civilians are sent to the future to fight a war of desperation. Dan, a seemingly ordinary man, is sent to the future in the last wave of civilian fighters, with just a few weeks left until the last human stronghold is overtaken. The hope is to give the future humans just enough time to create a bioweapon to fight against the White Spikes. Dan does develop this bioweapon with his daughter and is sent back just moments before the connection to the future is lost. The future human race seems doomed, and the current population must now wait for when their turn to be invaded takes place. However, Dan and a small group do find the alien spaceship that was crashed hundreds of years ago in the ice of Russia, and they do manage to destroy the first White Spike colony before the invasion can ever take place, thus winning the war before it ever began. The Tomorrow War has much to be desired. It's a great concept and storyline. Not all of it sticks the landing, but it is an overall enjoyable film. A sequel will no doubt happen, and the film leaves many unanswered questions and does set up a future conflict. This video will be in two parts. First, I will go over some of the unanswered questions from the film, and secondly, I am going to speculate what the storyline of the sequel will be, based off of the information we do have, both from the movie and from the director. Firstly, the time travel in this movie seems to hint at multiple branching timelines. Although not directly stated, this would fit most what we see. Everything done in the present has no effect on the future, meaning the past and present must be in different timelines. They are able to change the future, but not the future where the war is taking place. When the humans traveled back to the year 2022, they created a branching timeline with its own future. This explains why they didn't just send a message telling the world to have a massive army in Russia waiting for the first wave of aliens, because it wouldn't do anything to help their current timeline. They speculate in the movie that the same person existing at the same time would create a paradox. But why is this, especially if we are dealing with multiple timelines? In the movie, they explain it as two rafts 30 years apart traveling forward at the same time, creating essentially 2 points on the timeline that they can jump back and forth between. But I believe that Jump Link is also holding the two different realities together as well. If you make time traveling to the past not have any effect on the future, but you can also make changes that affect the new future, then you are obviously dealing with different branching timelines, so a paradox really shouldn't exist. Perhaps if you meddle with the timeline too much, the link between the two times and realities can collapse, or the new future reality can become unstable. But this really isn't completely explained in the movie. But any time travel movie is gonna have some type of logical fallacy if you pick it apart too much. We also know that future humans were left in the current year when the jump collapsed. Nobody seemed too worried about the fact that they would be alive when their own selves are born. But perhaps at this point they can't create a paradox that would threaten the integrity of the timeline and the bridge because the bridge has already collapsed. When the link to the future was destroyed, was the connection to the future lost? This will need to be explored in the sequel, as the sequel most likely will deal with some type of time travel as well. If they re-established another jump link to the future, will it be to their new future or to the old branching future timeline? We didn't actually see his daughter die, so this does open the possibility that they could travel to the exact time when she was falling and try to save her moments before her death. When Dan is recruited by the soldiers of the future, he goes through some type of a test to determine if he meets all the requirements for subscription. This is important because we know that people who are alive in the future can't travel to the future for reasons. But that is only about 500,000 people, so why are only 50% of the military population able to travel as stated in the movie? There must be other reasons that determine if you can travel. In the movie, they state that he meets all the requirements to become Active 2 status. There must be more requirements than just not being alive in the future. I do believe that the people of the future are hiding something in regards to this. They all seem to act like jerks when dealing with the people that they are recruiting. This may be because to them, all of these people are already dead, so they might not feel the same level of sympathy for them as they would for their fellow humans that are alive in the future.
All of those people down there died years before I was born. All of you up here as well. So you see, I can't get quite as worked up as you over the fate of some colonists.
They almost look down upon them in a certain way during the training process. Maybe they are also selecting people that they don't believe will be needed in the future war of the new timeline, or people that they deem are not crucial to the survival of the human race. Because even though they are fighting a future war, the humans of the world still must prepare for the day the invasion will take place for them. I am going a bit out on a limb, but perhaps there is some type of a eugenics program mixed into the process for picking who will go and fight in the future war. When they scan Dan, they pull up documents like his birth certificate, marriage license, military service, teaching license, divorce record, and his death record. I do believe that they are scanning for something else as well to see if he fits duty. Perhaps some type of DNA or bioscan is also taking place, but we just don't know all that they're looking for, but either way he does make the cut. With branching timelines in mind, it does bring up the question of why the current human race would send meat wave after meat wave of humans to fight in a war that isn't even their own future. I believe that there is a mutually benefiting relationship between the future humans and the current humans. The future needs soldiers and warm bodies, which they are severely lacking. And in the current year 2022, they need information, technology, and knowledge that the future can provide. This is stuff they will no doubt use against the White Spikes when their own timeline is invaded. Perhaps the future has even promised a sample of the bioweapon if they keep the future humans alive long enough to create it. The director has implied that the sequel will focus more on the creation of the White Spikes and the aliens that created them, as this is probably the biggest unanswered question of the movie. The White Spikes are creatures genetically engineered to depopulate a planet. I don't believe that the aliens crashed on Earth by accident and that Earth was not its intended target. The crash may have been by accident, but Earth was definitely the target. You don't just break down in space and just happen to crash on a random planet. With how large space is, this is virtually impossible. They were on Earth because they wanted to be on Earth. They just didn't get a chance to manually release the White Spikes. So what happened? I see two possibilities. The first possibility is that this alien race are colonizers, and they simply want to take over Earth, but do it by the easiest means possible. I do believe that the White Spikes are used as a bioweapon to wipe out any population of intelligent or large animals that live on the planet. It would not take long for the White Spikes to take over the entire planet, and then once the food supply is exhausted, the White Spikes themselves would simply starve to death, leaving the planet desolate and ready to be colonized. It is a very low cost and effective way of taking over a planet. They do state in the movie that the White Spikes rest once a week, and they refer to this as their Sabbath, an obvious reference to the Bible and religion. In the Bible, God created for 6 days and rested on the seventh. However, the White Spikes destroy for 6 days and then rest on the seventh, showing that they only have one nature and it is destruction. It is possible that this alien race came to Earth to release the White Spikes in the year 946. However, the massive volcano, as explained in the film, went off this year as well. Dust and ash would have clouded the atmosphere and the alien ship. Perhaps this is what caused the alien ship to crash land in Russia, where it lay for hundreds and hundreds of years until the ice thawed out. In the sequel, it would only be a matter of time before the humans must face off against this intelligent, genocidal alien species. The second possibility for the sequel goes a bit more with the theme of the future war. Far into the future, beyond just the year 2051, humans and this alien species engage in a massive galactic war. Whether out of desperation or just another means of fighting the humans, this alien species creates the white spikes and then travels back in time, wanting to release this bioweapon to destroy humans before they ever become anything. And thus they would hope to create a timeline where they have won the war before it ever begins. However, they were pursued by the humans or fired upon as they jumped to the past, and this caused them to crash land in Russia in the year 946 AD. With the white spikes defeated, it is once again only a matter of time until humans must fight the creator of the white spikes. But what do you think? Is there any other open-ended questions you feel like should be answered in the movie? Or what are your thoughts on my answers and the possible sequel movie plots and storyline? Please let me know, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.